Well, ladies and gentlemen, fellow sufferers from chronic GTA 6 speculation disorder, the map just got bigger again. Well, kind of. You see, over the last few days and weeks, we have had updates to the community mapping project, with both Yanis and RickRick dropping new versions of their existing maps, and let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something.
I honestly have been absolutely blown away by the amount of tiny details both these maps feature, especially considering that one is just Vice City and some of its surrounding area, while the other one is basically the entire continent of Africa. In today's video, we will go over both the mapping project from Yanis as well as RickRick's map and talk a little bit about how and what the recent reports are saying about GTA 6, its delay, and its absolutely massive size.
And you know what else is massive?
Now, before getting into the topic of this video, please make sure to hit that like button and of course subscribe for a chance to win an RTX 7090 card once this channel reaches 10 million, which at this rate will probably be around the same time Rockstar releases a game without delaying it first. Now, I apologize if I sound off this time around, as I have been sick over the past few weeks and have had funeral-related duties to take care of, so without further ado, let's get straight into this, shall we? Yeah. First things first, I want to take a closer look at the first few iterations of the GTA 6 map. This will give us the most accurate representation of what ungodly amount of work has been put into creating the maps that most likely will be 90 to 95% accurate when the game releases a year from now.
Are you sure about that?
First up, we have the earliest version titled 0.001, which shows us the initial locations from the leaks in 2022, all positioned according to their coordinates in rage units. We can see the keys, the location of the shed or shack we saw in the leaks, as well as the police chase location, followed by the Grass Rivers, Ocean Beach, and the hotel on Ocean Drive, as well as parts of the airport, Rockridge, the highway, and finally some countryside and Port Gellhorn. Moving on to the next version, we can see the map immediately started taking shape as the roads started getting mapped properly. But if we skip on to version 0.010, we can see the map get its Florida-inspired shape that we're all expecting it to be like. Moving on to the 0.014 version, we have a little bit of a better look at the map itself. Here, we could see things like the prison, the industrial area, as well as the Port Gellhorn racetrack all show up. Of course, followed by Little Haiti, the metro station, as well as a more detailed version of Ocean Beach and the port area itself. But what really makes this entire thing special is how absolutely massive the entire thing is. Jokes aside, if we move on to the 0.020 version, we can see that the speculative road system was changed over the next few iterations to suit the map shape itself a bit better, all while adding Yorktown north of Port Gellhorn, as well as a few hilly areas next to it. Now, if we skip to 0.024, we can see the addition of the Red Hill Forest, as well as this thing which my 12 IQ brain really struggled to pronounce properly. Aconfinaka. I don't know. An ambrosia which originally was speculated to be on the east coast above Vice City itself. If we move around the map a bit more, we can see the additions of the Gator Keys, the hillside of Port Gellhorn, as well as additional speculative parts of Vice City Beach and this entire downtown area, which even here seemed to be absolutely packed.
That's what she said.
Now, if we fast forward a bit more and look at 0.034, we can see how big Vice City truly will be, with its borders basically stretching from the in-game versions of the Everglades to the North Beaches, which in comparison to GTA 5, based just on the rage units alone, is almost double in size compared to Los Santos. Now here, we can see the Port Gellhorn airport in its early speculative form, as well as the general outline and size of Port Gellhorn itself. A few other noteworthy changes in this version were the additions of the Fairyland Forest above Lake Leonida, as well as Ambrosia next to it on the right side. Now, the biggest jump that happened was going from 0.034 to 0.038, as the entire map literally came to life and had basically everyone go like, perfect. In this iteration of the mapping project, the map already started looking like the one that we know now, albeit without the Panhandle at the top. Here, we can see that Port Gellhorn as well as Yorktown seem to be connected, basically serving as that second medium-sized city together. The outline of the map, as well as the addition of the Grass Rivers and additional landmass on top, really made the map shine, even if it did kind of look like the map of GTA 5.
No! God, please, no!
Now the next big jump for the mapping project came with the release of 0.045, which expanded things even further north while adding the speculative Panhandle, which honestly has to be in the final game or we all will be like this. In this instance here we can see that Yorktown has been moved a bit further north to accommodate the Panhandle, while adding Bohemia to the top left corner. This iteration of the map is the closest to the last version that Dubso released without featuring certain aspects shown in trailer 2.
Stop it. Get some help.
Now if we move forward onto the 0.051 map, we can see that we have received a major update on Mount Calaga, which was placed in the area above Lake Leonida surrounding the Red Hill Forest, the Dome Hills in Kelly County, as well as Ambrosia itself, which was moved further down on the shores of Lake Leonida itself. Now this mapping update came out over 6 months ago and was probably the closest representation of the GTA 6 map we got today. Of course, until our boy Yanis released his most recent update 10 days ago. Now, I wanted to cover this update as soon as it came out, but unfortunately everything kind of came crashing down and me catching a severe case of the flu really didn't help much. But those things aside, the first thing about this particular mapping update I want to talk about is the change that happened with the Gellhorn International Airport. Now, this change did occur in an earlier version of the Yanis mapping project, but my slow ass only realized it now. Ever since Yanis updated to the version 8, the Port Gellhorn Airport was changed into the Gellhorn International Raceway, which seemingly is based on the Sebring International Raceway as well as the Gainesville Raceway, which are located kind of in central Florida, closer to the real-life version of Lake Leonida. Now, the rest of the map, if we zoom out, has been altered quite a lot in comparison to the one that Dubso made half a year ago. Turning the opacity up and down on the Yanis map, we can see the map shape slowly change on the sides and the top right, as well as top left part near and above Port Gellhorn. These changes are most notable in terms of Ambrosia / Lake Leonida, which were moved a little bit to the right, closer to the eastern shores. Now, if we take a closer look at the Leonida Keys, we can see Sundown being moved north a bit along with the Naval Air Base and the rest of the Keys. Moving north, we can see how many changes happened within the grass rivers themselves. The Dubso map originally had the Flamingo Beach on the left side, more west, with the grass rivers kind of stretching across Watson Bay and further up the west coast. But if we look at Yanis' map, this is not the case anymore, with the west coast actually featuring the speculative location of the dome houses from the leaks, as well as Flamingo Beach being placed in the Everglades themselves. Another thing here is the entire west coast has been shaped in a way that extends a bit further west, and if you zoom out and look at it, it almost looks as thick and curvy as Lucia herself.
Oh, that's hot.
Now the biggest update here is definitely the area around Vice City and north of it, which received probably the biggest update out of all. In comparison to RickRick's V3 map, we can see how much more detail was crammed into this entire area. Even when we remove the bulge in the northern part of Leonard County, the city itself is still absolutely massive, at least when taking into consideration the size of both Liberty City and Los Santos, as well as the original size of Vice City in the earlier renditions of Dubso's mapping project. Now, the few other things I want to mention as well is the removal of the landmass located between the Port Gellhorn Raceway and the northern part of Port Gellhorn itself. Why this was done, I don't exactly know, but what I do know and see is that Mount Calaga was moved a bit to the west from its original location in Dubso's map. Now, what hides on top of the map at the northernmost point, we currently have no idea. This also applies to the potential inclusion of the Bermuda Triangle, as it was mentioned but never really shown location-wise in the mapping project. Moving on from the mapping project, recent leaks and inside reports seem to suggest that the game itself is content ready, with Tom Henderson saying the game has been content ready for some time, even though he literally said that it wasn't 6 months ago. This leads me to believe that the developers that got fired recently were being pushed a bit harder and were facing overtime in hopes of the studio being able to finish the game before February. All of this kind of makes it seem like the delay itself really was not part of their plans, especially if we take into consideration in what way they ended up announcing it. Either way, enough with the doom and gloom. What part of the map are you guys the most excited to explore once this absolute behemoth ends up releasing next year? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, thank you for taking time to watch this video, and a big thank you to all the 1,720 people that ended up subscribing. You folks are the best. A big thank you also goes out to the first and returning member of this channel, Victor Vallejo. Thank you so much for your continuous support. If you guys haven't already, please make sure to hit that like button and of course subscribe for a chance to win an RTX 7090 card once this channel reaches 10 million. Stay silly, keep edging, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.